everybody. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo. So the other day I was at church and one of the gentlemen that go to church with us came up to me and was really excited to share his newfound hobby. Now, several years ago, I was in charge of the girls' camp crafts, and we painted rocks. And he had come to that to speak. And he wanted to learn how to paint rocks, and he absolutely loved it. He's actually really good at it. But now he's tumbling rocks. He lives close to a lake, and so he goes in his backyard and picks up all these really neat rocks, and he tumbles them. Let me show you what he brought me. Aren't these gorgeous? I was so excited. He told me he even has some amber for me. I can't believe he found these in his backyard. Well, we don't have any rocks in our backyard. Funny thing is, growing up in Florida, we never had any rocks. We would take our yearly trip to Colorado to visit with our extended family, and we'd go up in the mountains and we would collect rocks. And people thought we were crazy. And when we told them we didn't have rocks in Florida, they didn't believe us. And pretty much Louisiana is the same, unless you're close to a river, which we're not. But let me show you what he brought me. A lot of this looks like red jasper. I would venture to say this is, that, and this. Look how pretty this purple stone is. And I am loving these golden yellows. Aren't they beautiful? And then we have, I wonder if this is a moonstone. It kind of looks like it. I don't know. Look at that. I don't know. Would we have moonstone? Here's another gray. But these are absolutely beautiful agates and jaspers. Look at this. So my next thing is to figure out what to do with them. So as I inspect these to try to figure out what to do with them, I look at some of these smaller ones and I'm thinking I can make those little wire cages. Remember, I did a video on those wire cages. I'll put a link up here to that video that I made for my granddaughter. And I could do something like that. With these bigger ones, I could just wrap them and maybe put them on a necklace or something. This one probably will be the easiest to wrap. And I would probably do it maybe where the bail is here. And that's what I will probably start. This one right here is going to be really hard to wrap because it's so slippery and it's all rounded. Looks like an egg. But honestly, I don't know if I'm really going to do anything with them like that because they're just beautiful on their own. They would look really nice in a glass jar for display. This one right here, I don't think is showing as gorgeous as it is. It's a deeper kind of a gray purple, but it's definitely purple. I'll try to take a closer picture of it, see if I can get the true color to show, because I know on my monitor it's not showing properly. So I kind of separated them out a little bit here, and upon further investigating, I am thinking this is gypsum. I looked it up and it is in the area and it looked a lot like this in the pictures. Kind of these grays and whites and beiges. If you happen to know what any of these are, let me know. I'd really like to know for sure. I'm almost 100% that these are all red jasper. These I don't know, but I did wire wrap this one. And these I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out. These are kind of a variety of, we got purple, pink, This may be, I don't know if you can see the banding in that. And it's in person, we're kind of looking at a dark brown. I see a little bit of green in there. It's not black though, it's very, very dark brown. This one has a little bit of purple in it, as does this one, I think. This, we have browns and reds, and it may actually be a red jasper. Not 100% sure. It's got a little bit too much brown in it, but maybe I'll look that up because I look right here, that is the same color. So I'm thinking this is red jasper. So as I had shown you before, I've got this particular rock all wrapped, and I wrapped it in a brass because I wanted to kind of keep the color integrity here. I thought silver would be too bright, copper probably the same thing. So to me, brass kind of blends in to this golden yellow. So my friend that gave me all these rocks, I'm good friends with his wife, and as a little thank you for sharing his treasures, I thought I would make her a piece of jewelry. So my plan is to use this as the center, and I'm going to mix my metals. I have the brass there, and I'm going to use this silver chain. And I have these crystals that are kind of a champagne color, and I think they're a really good match with this piece. And I wanted to do some type of a pop of color, and so I'm going to use these dyed howlites. I am really going to like this piece. And then I'm going to make it adjustable. I want it to be maybe like a 20-inch, but I want her to have the option to shorten it if she wants. So that's one reason why I'm using this particular chain, because it'll be easy for her to adjust. And then I plan to hang this starfish from the bottom. And then of course I will use these silver seed beads in my piece. So let me go string it up, and I will be back to show you what it looks like. So I have it all strung up, and I wanted to show you, see if I can find the end here without messing my beads all up. I wanted to show you how I put a bead cap or bead tip or a crimp bead on here. I actually don't use crimp beads. I use these little things. They're called a clamshell bead tip. They have a little hole at the bottom there. So on this side, I just feed my beading wire in there, and then I tie 2 knots on top of each other. There's 1, there's 2, tighten them up, and then I slide this guy in there. It's like he gobbles up the knots. And then I just take my pliers and I gently close it up. And then I take my wire cutters and trim that off. And then I just kind of feel to make sure it's not scratchy. If it is, I just take my nail and kind of push it in there. And that's how I do the one side. The other side's a little different. But not much. Again, you just slide the bead in there. And you're going to tie 2 knots. But you have to feed the knot inside there. So a pin works really well. And you want to make sure it doesn't get behind there. You need it to get inside. And again, you do 2 knots. Just feeding those knots inside the bead tip. And once those 2 knots are in there, you just close it up. Clip this off. And make sure the end is actually in there. I know a lot of people use these little clamshell thingies to put their crimp beads, like they will put these on top of the crimp beads, but I mean, the knotting works just as well. It's easy to do. I've been doing this 30 plus years and haven't had any issues. Now I need to add the chain. So I have it all finished. It is approximately 20 inches, but because of the big loops here, you could actually make it as short as you want just by putting the lobster claw in one of those loops. I added a little fancy dangle starfish. I also made another one that I would like to show you. This one is with some red Jasper. This one was a little bit more difficult to wrap. I had to kind of double wrap it, but it came out pretty cool, I think. And I just used some howlite and crystals, the same ones, but instead of using a bright silver chain, I actually used an antique brass along with the antique brass wrap. This one is about a little more than 18 inches in length. These were a lot of fun to make. I'm going to see if I can go wrap some more of these rocks that my friend gave me and maybe try to make some more fun things. What do you think? Have you gone in your backyard and found some beautiful rocks, or maybe even found some rocks or shells on a trip? Come home and make something pretty out of them. It would make a great souvenir. Anyway, I hope that you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ding that bell for notifications. That way you can learn more about jewelry making and unboxings and other tips. Mostly though, I hope y'all have a fantastically wonderful day. This is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo signing out for now. Bye-bye.